Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Dota 2 commentary. This is again another matchup from Dreamhack Summer. This is a matchup between Lion's Pride and Liquid. Now, I'm gonna probably be doing quite a number of games from this tournament, just because starting this Friday, which is gonna be the 21st, I might be out of commission for a bit. And I don't know what I mean when I say out of commission. I might cast daily again, or I might be taking a bit of a break due to some medical things. So until then, I will be trying to cast as many games as possible from this tournament. So once again, this is Lion's Pride versus Team Liquid. You saw Lion's Pride in the last matchup they played. They played pretty solidly for the most part. They're definitely playing rather well. Liquid have been struggling prior to this tournament, so we'll see if they can get back into good form. I'm sure they've thought about their recent struggles quite heavily. Liquid is, of course, an incredibly intelligent team with a lot of skill, so I have the full faith that they can make a strong recovery. But we're gonna have to see. Lions Pride definitely looks sharp in the game that we saw, and Liquid gonna have to bring their A game to say the least, because this turn is stacked full of killers. Dignitas, Virtus Pro, Fnatic, Navi, Alliance, Mouse, all these and more. DD, I think, yeah, DD are also playing. Also, even the BYOC section has some killers. Sing Sing is participating in a team along with Twista from Empire, so all the teams want to bring their A game, and all the teams want to be in top form before they go into the boot camp, so they can know what to improve on and how they can improve and know what they've already done well. So, without further ado, let's go right into the picks and bans. So, Lion's Pride gonna ban out the Lone Druid as well as the Treant Protector. Treant Protector, as you all know, incredibly powerful in the early game, and more annoying than not, he can be beaten, but he's just so annoying to face. He just pretty much mitigates all attempts at early game pressure because Living Armor is just such a buzzkill. I mean, just gonna put a Family Guy reference, but Treant Protector was a character, he'd be Buzz Killington, because that guy just does not care how fun the game is. He will shut down your enjoyment of that game in the form of Living Armor. But Lion's Pride gonna pick up Darkseer with an opening choice, and Liquid gonna follow up with Gyrocopter as well as Visage. So they're gonna get their very strong supporting cast along with their carry in the form of the Gyrocopter. Liquid, very known for picking up the Gyrocopter, similar to Navi since it's such a stable carry, is strong in most aspects of the game, has a lot of magical damage early on, has a lot of damage potential mid-game, and can of course carry into the late game. Meanwhile, Visage is a similar vein, does dominate offensive tri lanes very hard with the Soul Assumption, and even defensive tri lanes he can do quite well because Grave Chill just allows him to harass outlane or offlaners by himself single-handedly and can allow the other support to potentially roam around. And he does scale remarkably well into the late stages of the game. Familiars never really get that bad as the game goes on because they do so much damage. They can provide up to 3 stuns if you get the Aghanim Scepter, and I mean, hey, they do quite a bit of damage, like I previously mentioned. And of course, it gets tanky. I was struggling for a moment why I should actually expound upon this Visage, but you all know him, and you all love him or hate him. Keep in mind, this hero was pretty much all the rage in China for 2010, 2011. Pretty much was perma-banned and perma-picked, and now it seems like he's back to this status. But Lion's Pride gonna pick up the puck, so they're gonna secure themselves a mid-solo hero. This could be a mid-solo that they're comfortable with. Keep in mind, Hester Joran did play the puck in the previous match against Mouse Sports. He played it rather well, although he did struggle a bit just because the damage output of his team was really inconsistent, to say the least. But it could also be to deny Korok a mid-solo pick, although TC has rotated to the mid-role these days. Well, at least in the last couple games that I've casted, but keep in mind those are TC heroes. Dragonite in the last 2 Liquid games are definitely TC heroes rather than, I guess, a Korok hero, because Dragonite is a bit more stable. Meanwhile, Korok loves to play super aggressive, and Lifestealer is definitely his sort of carry when Dragonite is going to be choice for Liquid. Lion's Pride is soon enough going to ban out the Naga Siren, so may they fear the net holding the Darkseer in place. But I would have thought Naga Siren would synergize quite well with the Darkseer and Puck combination. So it looks like either they haven't practiced too much with it, which makes sense because they are playing with stand-in, or they just fear the counter initiation when they already have a strong teamfight presence. So it could be a combination of both. They don't really feel comfortable going up against Naga when they already have strong teamfight, and it could be that they haven't practiced their own teamfight potential with the Darkseer combined with the Naga Siren. So that's my reasoning behind why they banned the Naga Siren. Meanwhile, Liquid gonna ban out the Spectre, probably one of the more powerful carries that we've seen in this patch thus far. Keep in mind, this patch is still very new, and they're gonna ban out the Shao Demon as well, recognizing the Lion's Pride do need to pick up his support, and Lions Pride making a smart decision, banning out the Nature's Prophet, who does work well in Liquid Slime because Liquid Slime can split push. They have the Visage providing a global presence. They have Gyrocopter who can split push very effectively with the Shadow Blade. And Nature's Prophet, of course, is incredibly annoying to deal with. I mean, it's so difficult to break into the base of a team who has a Nature's Prophet just because he pushes every one of your other lanes, making it incredibly difficult to actually take engagement without putting your own buildings in threat of being killed off.
5 seconds remaining.
So Liquid, we're going to have to see what they choose here. They have their support, they have their hard carry. This carry could be played in mid lane position, but I'm going to be more apt to think that this will be a safe lane carry. Although this could be an aggressive trial by Liquid. Gyrocopter does do quite well. He has Rocket Barrage dealing a whole chunk load of damage, and Flat Can to zone out enemy heroes from the tri lane. And keep in mind, if Liquid want to run an aggressive tri lane, they could also put Gyrocopter in safe lane and run an aggressive tri lane with a different carry. So Gyrocopter, a very flexible carry, and he does do pretty well against Darkseer in a solo lane capacity, but Liquid gonna pick up Rubik, and even though Rubik wasn't buffed or nerfed, it seems like he hasn't been picked up in high regard these days. Interesting to see, but maybe more teams are just experimenting with other heroes, and you might see a resurgence in Dreamhack Summer. But Rubik, a very, very stable hero, very, very strong against Darkseer and Puck. If he meant to steal something like a vacuum, a coil, or a wall, he could be potentially very, very powerful. But Lions Pride gonna snatch up the Lifestealer, so they're gonna have a bit more sort of stable damaging presence throughout the early to mid stages of the game. Very, very strong chaser, and can really hunt down and destroy Liquid's lineup, who at the moment is quite squishy outside of Visage, and Visage doesn't really get that tank until he gets a couple points into his Gravekeeper's cloak.
5 seconds remaining.
So Lions Pride, they have some mobility on their side, they have some teamfight potential, they have a very, very strong stable carry me on Liquid. Gonna snatch up the mid soul hero in the form of Queen of the Pain, and I've got to imagine this will be Korok's hero in the mid lane position, and Queen of Pain has been receiving a lot more attention recently, although she hasn't been picked in as high regard just because teams realize, well, you can still Bottle Crow as effectively as ever. Well, not as effectively as ever, but still somewhat effectively, although you can't really Bottle Crow to the offlane nearly as effectively. So Queen of Pain definitely picked up more often. She's very, very mobile, does do a lot of burst damage. The only problem is that in this game, Darkseer will more often than not go into a mechanism, perhaps into a pipe as well, considering there's a Visage, there's a Gyrocopter, there's a Queen of Pain, and with that, a lot of Queen of Pain's burst potential will get shut down. But Queen of Pain does do a healthy amount of damage just in the form of right clicks, and she does decently well against Puck depending on how skilled the players are. More often than not, Puck does have the advantage because it can phase shift a lot of Queen of Pain's Shadow Strikes, force her to burn some mana, and at level 6 he has a much easier time killing the Queen of Pain than Queen of Pain does have at killing the Puck. So it's going to depend on the player skill. I'm going to have to give it in Korok's favor, just because I know Hesiod is a strong player, but I mean, we've seen Korok win mid lane more often than I can count. You know, Lions Pride picking up the Crystal Main, getting themselves a strong support. A support hero who doesn't need that many items. A support hero does a lot of damage in the early game, which Lions Pride is lacking somewhat because Darkseer is a mid-game hero in general. Puck does want to get to the mid-game, wants to get that dagger rush, so Crystal Main does give them some offensive potential if Liquid do decide to run an aggressive try. And we're going to see the return of Bulba's Tinker. It's been a while, but I guess we are going to see it in this game. Tinker being chosen by Team Liquid, so they have some split pushing potential for Bulba, as well as having just annoying ways to lock down a lot of people on Lions Pride and really prevent them from breaking into the base. And it's just going to be a nightmare for Lions Pride to actually push into the base of Team Liquid unless they meant to get a really, really early dagger up on Puck and just sort of control the Tinker at that point. Meanwhile, Nyx Assassin will be the last choice. I'm not too sure if he's the best support against a Tinker, but he's strong support. He can gank pretty well, and overall very versatile, so it might be that Lions Pride are most familiar with this hero. He could potentially do very, very well against a Tinker, because Tinker does tend to get a lot of intelligence and doesn't really build into BKB these days, so Mana Bird could do quite a number. So, on second thought, this Nyx Assassin pick is making a lot more sense in my mind. But time to use the players in the team. So on the side of Liquid, we are going to have TC playing the Queen of Pain, so it looks like Liquid have indeed swapped roles, unless they do a player swap of these heroes, but I guess Korok is sort of delegated to hard carry rather than mid lane. Maybe they want a more stable presence in mid lane in TC, because Korok, even though he has the potential to do so much work in the mid game, sometimes he plays a little bit too aggressive, and
Prepare for battle.
giving up a huge streak now definitely hurts you quite a bit. And TC does in general play a lot safer than Korok. And if you give up like a beyond godlike streak, that'll give away 1,000 gold. Even if you give away a dominating streak, that will be 400 additional gold to one of the members on Lion's Pride. So picking a more conservative player on the Snowball hero does make a bit more sense, and that might be why we see TC relegated to the mid lane sort of role these days. But anyway, due to the lanes and teams, we are going to have Mini playing that Nyx Assassin. Going to be Link, the famous Danish carry player, playing that Lifestealer Hestijo Rotten. Formerly 3D Max going to be playing the Puck. Noya, I think is his brother. He's going to be playing the offlane Darkseer, and Crit is going to be playing the support Crystal Main Mew on the side of Team Liquid. We're going to have TC playing the Queen of Pain in the middle lane. Looks like he was pulled one cell from Fluff at the very least, so I guess that's something. Korok is going to be playing the Gyrocopter, not pulled anything. Just has a very, very stable build, and Liquid not going to go on the offensive, knowing that it is a bit difficult going against a Nyx Assassin, a Lifestealer, and a Crystal Main tri-lane. And Visage, even though he does do very well in an aggressive tri-lane scenario, doesn't really need to sort of be in an aggressive tri-lane scenario to have an impact in the game. He just needs to get experience, and he can have an impact no matter what. So Fluff is going to be playing the Visage, Bulba is going to be playing the Tinker. Keep in mind, it was Bulba who trademarked, I mean, Bulba embeds everything, but it was actually Bulba who sort of brought the March Machine build back in favor of Tinker. And IX Mike is going to be playing his trusty Rubik. All he needs is a stash, but I guess this mask will have to do for now. One thing I'm a bit worried about for Bulba, since he is in the offlane, is that the supports will probably realize this and probably ward off the Ancients so Bulba can't really stack. And at that point, I'm not really too sure how Bulba can lane. I guess he can sort of retreat to the jungle, but he won't really get as much efficiency in terms of farm. Noya just poking and prodding, checking out the lanes, probably realizes that he can't really do too much against this lane. And Liquid have pushed up the creep equilibrium to a reasonable amount, but Noya is going to be forced in the jungle. He has a pretty strong jungling build, so he's just going to poke and prod a couple more times, wait for Liquid to pull most likely, wait for them to stack, and then retreat into the jungle. I mean, he doesn't want to give up first blood, but he also wants to make sure he has no chance in lane before he actually uses it, because lane does give you more golden experience. And Bulba will be able to get a successful stack pull-off in the first wave, so I'm a bit surprised that Lion's Pride haven't realized that Tinker is missing currently off the map, and at this point I'd be frantically saying to my sports, or a lot of captains in general would be saying to their sports, alright, where's Tinker? Find him, he's in the Ancients, ward the camp so he can't stack, and his experience growth will be mitigated by quite a bit. But so far, actually, we're going to see Link retreat into the jungle, and we're going to see Mini pick up some experience on the bottom lane. Interesting maneuver by Alliance Pride. This seems to be a Cupid Red Panda's maneuver. Give the Nyx Assassin a lot of farm as well as a lot of levels. And keep in mind, Mini was formerly the captain of Cupid Red Panda, so this could be a conscious decision for Mini to pick up a lot of experience and try to get that fast level 6. And getting a fast level 6 up against a Tinker, up against a Queen of Pain is going to be really important. But you're also mitigating the presence of Lifestealer, not getting him the most efficient amount of farm. Even though he did hit level 2, looks like he was given Quelling Blade at the very least. I think he probably bought the Quelling Blade in the side shop. And you can see now Lion's Pride are appropriately going to ward off the camp with the Sentry Ward, preventing any further stacks, and just going to make Bulba's life a lot more difficult. But Bulba actually has a Sentry Ward of his own, and he can potentially deal with the Sentry Ward if he places this ward correctly. But if he does do that, he will have to sort of go into the river, which is a very dangerous location, considering that the Dire or the Radiant do have an Observer Ward spotting him out. Meanwhile, the middle lane, TC, not taking any risks, just farming it up. Hestijo Run doing similarly. Looks like he was pulled a set of tangos while TC was pulled a salve, and TC just gonna go in for a bit of harassment. Seems like TC is winning the early battle, but keep in mind, Puck, once he hits level 6, definitely has a lot more healing potential on the Queen of Pain, just in the form of silence, and Queen of Pain doesn't really have anything on the level of phase shift to get her out of trouble. She has Blink, but if you're silence, Blink can't really do too much. But TC so far keeping his mana and HP pull up to a relatively healthy amount, and is going to annoy Hestijo, preventing him from using too many more bottle charges, at least for the next 10 seconds or so. So far TC is playing this lane very, very well, and Bulba, he did manage to place that Sentry Ward without being contested by the Radiant supports. The Radiant supports weren't really in position to get a gank going. It seems like Crit just wants to get as much experience as possible and gets himself a smoker to seat. So we could see the possibility of a smoke gank coming in and just disrupting Bulba, or perhaps disrupting TC, because Frostbite, of course, prevents heroes from blinking away. So it seems like Lion's Pride really keen on getting experience, and they know Liquid don't really have that much early game presence, but in the mid game their lineup really kicks in high gear. So apparently Lion's Pride want to accelerate their heroes to the mid game rather than just dominating the early stages of the game. And we'll see if that strategy does actually work out in this case. Meanwhile, Fluff, not too much gold whatsoever, just been buying sentries, salves, whatever his team needs. Fluff is going to be the man to get it. IX Mike roaming in, trying to help out the middle lane whenever possible. Looks like he managed to farm up to a boots of speed, and he does have a smoker to see in his back pocket. So IX Mike is well equipped to go for a potential gank, but again, it's so hard ganking into a puck. Meanwhile, I'm a bit surprised that Darkseer actually hasn't rotated to the jungle. I mean, I guess he wants to leave as much farm as possible to Link, but Darkseer is a hero who does want to get as much farm because he does scale well into all aspects of the game, but his biggest impact definitely comes in the mid to early late stages of the late game. You know, Bulba dewarding did manage to successfully deward this camp. Just check out his farm, picked up the Soul Ring, so I imagine he's just going to go Soul Ring straight into Boots of Travel. Going to forego the bottle for now, and the Creep Blade being pushed up to such a degree that he can actually farm relatively safely under his own tower, probably recognizing that Lifesteal isn't in any danger of picking him off. So interesting moves by Lion's Pride. They're going to get a lot of experience on everybody but the Darkseer, which might come back to haunt them, as IX Mike gonna come in. He has a telekinesis, didn't use smoker to see Noya, gonna get lifted up in the air. Here comes Korok with the rocket barrage, gonna do a lot of damage. Fluff and stuff with the Soul Assumption, gonna help clean up the kill, as First Blood does go in favor of Liquid, and the Creep Wave has now been pushed to the enemy tower, but actually the Creep Wave has been finished off, so they won't be able to get the tower push, but they did manage to get a nice First Blood up, and Visage gonna probably make his way towards the medallion very, very shortly, but only after he buys wards and shit. You know, Mini rotating to the middle lane. This is really, really weird. I guess Puck had to go back and heal. He was getting harassed by TC way too much, and Mini's just going to throw on some mana burn harassment on TC, but this is just a lot of rotation, a lot of experience being distributed, and we'll see if that comes back to help out Lion's Pride or actually hurts them in the end. Looks like Link managed to snatch the regeneration rune under TC's nose. TC definitely not going to be too pleased, has to go all the way back to base considering he wouldn't have full HP, nor would he have full mana. So just decides to go back to base. Meanwhile, Crit might pick up a solo kill on Bulba. He has boots of speed, Bulba does not, and Crystal Bane kills a tanker. Dang, not something you see every day. Fluff looking to perhaps get a great chill, but Crit might just be a bit too speedy. Crit with a really nice recognition of Bulba. Probably check that he didn't have boots, recognize he could go in and kill that tinker, and that's gotta definitely be an embarrassing situation for Bulba. Definitely something you don't really plan on, getting solo killed by Crystal Main when you're a superior hero. But Crystal Main, her damage output again is quite tremendous, and she's gotten 3 points in Nova, 3 points in Frostbite, and she's level 6, 7 minutes in the game. Oh my god. Lion's Pride getting so much experience on everybody besides the Darkseer and Lifestealer. So the heroes that you would most want to get your experience on actually getting the least amount of experience, and that is going to buff their supports to a tremendous degree. IX Mike going to find himself Frostbite, will be able to dodge the orb since level 3 Frostbite only lasts for about 2.5 seconds, I do believe, and won't be enough to help bring down IX Mike. But that tower pressure slash ganking pressure that Lion's Pride has applied now frees up the map for Noya for a certain extent, allowing to pick up level 4. And Darkseer is a hero who can recover quite easily, as Mini is going to charge in. Will find Korok with the Infest Bomb, and Korok never stood a chance in hell of escaping that terrible situation. If he had a Sentry, perhaps, but even then it would have been very, very difficult.
Dire's top tower is under
Actually, it might not have been. Well, I mean, Surge would have probably propelled Mini ahead and would have been able to secure a kill, so scratch that. I was going to comment that Open Wounds wouldn't be able to snag the Gyrocopter, but Surge just mitigates that completely. You know, Nick Assassin does pick up a kill on TC. I wonder how that happened. I'm going to rewind that just to see how that exactly went down. Oh, Mini snacks a double damage rune, and TC seems like his blink, yeah, his blink is going to be on cooldown, so Unfortunate engagement for Korok, but it did cost him his life. And Link, with the Iron Shell, gonna clear up a nice stack of creeps. I'm sure that was Bulba's sort of trust fund in the bank, but Bulba gonna have to invest a bit more later on as Gyrocopter gonna initiate. They're gonna find Noya. Noya gonna be on top of Link. Gonna actually go back in. Wants IX Smite. Can he actually pick off IX Smite? I don't think he can. He will go down. Darkseer will be lucky enough to escape for now. Crit will find himself Soul Assumption, and Korok will pick up a kill. Meanwhile, IX Smite gonna be on trouble. IX Smite will go down. Here comes the teleport by Mini, but that teleport scroll just taking ages upon ages. So Liquid taking a 2-for-1 victory, and getting a high level Crystal Main. Definitely pretty solid overall. Level 7 Crystal Main. And killing the lifesteal, of course, is the biggest factor. And Korok has been able to get a reasonable amount of farm. 58 CS, 60 CS 9 minutes game. Definitely nothing to be sad about, as he's just picking off creeps. Will most likely get the drums up. And then might rush the BKB, because Shadow Blade Gyrocopter is sort of fallen out of favor. And he already has Tinker to split push, so I've got to imagine he'll rush the BKB rather than getting the Shadow Blade. Meanwhile, Bulba has not picked up the bottle, is instead going to rush those boots of travel as fast as he can. Meanwhile, Nick's Assassin is going to be spotted out with the lifesteal inside him. He's going to charge past everybody, but they do spy TC, and TC is playing dangerously close, but Mini will get lifted up in the air. The Sonic Wave actually gets reflected onto TC, I do believe, and meanwhile, Link will try to do as much as he can. Dreamcoil holding Liquid in place, but Link just simply can't do enough. Really, really well placed Central Ward by Liquid. Mini probably should have suspected something was up when he saw TC sort of juke the other way in the beginning, but in the end, they fell for the bait, and it cost them quite dearly. But Crystal Maiden gonna go in. They're gonna kill off IX Mike. This Crystal Maiden putting in work. She ain't no maiden. She is a spear wife. Oh man, the day I start making Game of Thrones references is the day I'm fully devolved into a super nerd. Even though my name is Bivon, I have brought shame upon everybody. Forgive me. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain gonna go for the treads. We'll have those up relatively soon. TC with the phase gonna try to make his way towards whatever he can. Might pick up a casual bracer, might go into drums, but will eventually make his way towards the armlet. And you can see Lifesteal being relegated to the jungle and ganking quite heavily has hurt his farm by a significant amount. 40 CS and a majority of those being neutrals, really not helping his gold intake. And you can see the Radiant definitely being outfarmed at this stage in the game. But in terms of experience, it is only slightly in favor of the Radiant. The gold difference is also only slightly in favor of the Dire. But I feel like the advantage that Radiant should try to secure has got to be greater, as I had to rewind a bit. Slight interruption, but we're going to get right back into it. But again, I feel like the advantage that the Radiant should take is going to be, or has to be, more significant, because Bulba has pretty much done nothing. And once he gets the Boots of Travel online and starts split pushing, it'll just be incredibly difficult for the Radiant to actually get successful engagements off up against this Tinker. So we're going to have to see if they go in for a kill as TC once again being driven away. And you can see Bulba getting dangerously close to those Boots of Travel. We'll have it at a reasonable time. 30-minute Boots of Travel being pressured is definitely nothing to be ashamed of.
Courier has been killed.
Looks like the Radiant did lose the courier, so gonna give Bulba a nice bit of extra gold, but here comes the ganking train and the Dire. They do not have a ward blocking off the jungle, so Bulba could be in for a rude awakening. But it looks like this ward is going to spot out Crystal Maiden at the very least, so Bulba will retreat appropriately, and we're going to immediately see a teleport to try to protect Korok. So really, really well placed ward by Team Liquid. Going to protect their carries. Meow Crit pulling the wave. Going to be a bit unfortunate. And the Iron Shell trying to scout out the waves ahead. Won't be lucky enough to spot IX Mike. And interesting enough, Bulba actually going to help out his teammates. The Familiar is going to wrap around Dreamcoil. Going to snag Korok. The Frostbite going to be used as well. Korok will be the first one to fall. Call down, doing quite a bit of damage, but Mini pops his wand. Will get himself up to relatively full HP. And looks like Liquid are in full retreat. Sonic Wave going to catch 3 people on side. Lion Sprite going to immediately melt down Crit with the Soul Assumption. Meanwhile, Link back in the thick of things, will try to get a kill, does get a kill on Rubik, but TC just going to work with the Haste Rune, will get another kill on the puck, pops the magic wand, looks like he's going to get juked, 1 more kill, will be secured by the puck, nice juking by the puck to bring down the Queen of Pain. So it's going to be a 4-for-3 engagement. Darkseer is the only survivor for the Radiant, and I don't believe anybody on side Liquid actually bought back. No buybacks for Liquid. So even though they lost Korok, the fact of the matter is that Bulba was able to survive, and Fluff was able to survive, so they picked up a good amount of experience, and Bulba will have his boots of travel up. So overall, that definitely favored Liquid. But killing the Queen of Pain, as well as the Gyrocopter, is going to be very, very important, as Fluff and Stuff just pushing a bit too far. Nyx Assassin going to initiate with the Impale. Frost Nova will help secure the kill. Mini does pick up the last hit, as Boots of Travel being shipped out towards Bulba. Fluff and Stuff just overstayed his welcome. Want to finish up that medallion. Actually, does have the medallion, so they want to finish up a magic wand. Well, he would have had enough for that as well, so not too sure what he wanted to finish up. I guess he wanted to get level 10. Want to finish up that level 10. And if that was the case, then he was denied. Dang. Interesting move by Noya, picking up that very early level point, or early point to wall. And I think that's really important for these sort of mid-game teamfights that Lions Pride do need to break out, because usually Darkseers don't get a point to wall until level 11, but getting an early point to wall does make Liquid a lot more afraid to actually look for the teamfights, just because that wall has a relatively short cooldown on how much it can actually do, all things considered. As Alex Mike will teleport himself in, but Hestejoran was invisible. We'll get the Waning Rift down, but the orb gonna whiff IX Mike. Noya gonna be driven back. Korok will be able to get a nice rocket barrage. Iron Shell doing quite a bit of damage, and the Fable will help secure the kill, but Korok does manage to get the last hit. And all the while you can see TC pushing up on that top lane. Liquid just seem to have constant, I guess, backup. They're just doing a nice job counter ganking, reinforcing their heroes, and just being in the right places at the right times, capitalizing on Lions Pride over aggressive behavior. And Lions Pride definitely paying for it at this point. Meanwhile, Mini looking for an opening, but there is a dire Sentry Ward gonna spot him out, and the Impale as well as Mana Burn does catch him. Crystal Main gonna rotate in as well, and Korok once again being caught out of position, but they will pick up crit. Nice stuns by Fluff and Stuff as they help secure a kill, and actually Korok does get a small semblance of revenge as he picked up the last hit from the cooldown on the Crystal Maiden. You know, the stun gonna slow down Fluff, but Alex might try and get in position for a telekinesis. Unfortunately, he was thwarted, and Darkseer is there. Looks like Darkseer, I think he wanted to Mana Shell, or Ion Shell, the Nerubian Assassin, or Nyx Assassin, but may have misclicked, or may he just didn't really want to chase. If that was the case, then that's very understandable. You know, Queen of Pain rushing that BKB, it's of the utmost importance that she does so no matter the nerf to BKB. An early BKB against Puck is just going to be ridiculously important. And also an early BKB against Nyx Assassin is still going to be important as well, as Lifestealer tried to go in for the tower, but the tower was denied, and he's stuck in a creep in a hard place. And here comes the Boots of Travel in by the Tinker. They're going to get used as Sentry Ward as well. And we'll see if the Rain actually want to help their buddy out. Link going to pop the Rage, but the Familiars... No, they don't even need the Familiars. They just use Medallion in conjunction with the physical damage to help secure the kill on Lifestealer. So nice job by Liquid, as Lifestealer is really just having a really difficult time. So Liquid gonna do a tower trade as Puck is pushing the top lane, and it doesn't seem like the Dire really in any hurry to defend it. Instead, they're more than content picking up this bottom tower, and they will do just that. And you know, the top tower has not yet fallen, but the Dire don't have a glyph, so this top tower will eventually die. But checking out the levels, you can see Mini, level 11, the supports on the side of Alliance Pride is just doing tremendously, or are just doing tremendously. Some very, very proper grammar brought to you by B-Ball and English Associates. Hire me for SAT tutoring. I got you with that grammar. Darkseer making his way towards a mechanism crit. Not too many items despite being involved in a number of kills and having 34 CS. Does have the face boots to increase his mobility, and Lions Pride perched up on the high ground looking for a kill. But still, it is ambitious to say the least, perhaps hunting down the jungle, but I think the Sentry Ward would have spotted, yeah, it definitely is going to spot Hestejoran's movement at the very least, and Liquid just not going to reveal themselves, leaving Lions Pride to wonder where exact Liquid is on the map. Liquid instead going to look for a team fight. Darkseer, I think he wants to face the mechanism. He will have it, and he does have it already, so actually he's had that. We'll see if he finishes a magic one or goes straight in towards his next item, but Liquid gonna push in. This might be a bit of a mistake. The Dire don't know that the Radiant have the mechanism, and the Dire themselves don't have a mechanism. Queen of Pain has not finished the BKB, so I feel like if a team fight is taken, the Radiant will have a significant advantage because of the mech. But Link doesn't really have, well, he has the TP scroll, so he can potentially get back to the lane, and Dire gonna back off. Hasterin was picked up, And now Noya gonna come in, blink dire on the puck, gonna help secure the kill on IX. Mike TC gonna be forced to retreat as Korok wants to get a missile going, is gonna use it, but the surge and the haste rune just gonna mean that Lion's Pride will just skate on out of there very, very easily. Crystal Main does die to Visage. Again, really, really solid micro by Fluff and stuff, killing off the Crystal Main, negating a huge portion of DPS being provided from the Radiant. Since Crystal Main at this point in the game does pump out a lot of damage. Noya looking for an angle, does get a vacuum, here comes the wall, Dream Cold not being used just yet. Oh man, Puck mistimed the phase shift, BKB on Korok, gonna help mitigate a lot of the DPS coming in. Fluff is gonna be a lot of trouble. Fluff will definitely die. Vendetta will help to seal up the kill. And meanwhile, Puck actually bopped back to get himself right back in the thick of things. Not too sure if that was worth it, since he already used his coil. I guess he just wants some experience as well as some gold. And in the end, they defend the middle tower, but still. That did favor Liquid. That looked very disastrous just because of the vacuum wall in conjunction with the Dream Coil silence, but just not enough damage to this Liquid lineup. Very, very tank. And Leicester not being there at the onslaught of the battle, or the onset of the battle, not helping matters. And again, March Machines is just such an annoying spell. Really, really just wears and tears that Lion's Pride, really preventing any follow-up DPS. But TC didn't die, he's working his way towards the BKB. The 10-second BKB charge has already been used by Korok, as he didn't go for drums, it's just a casual bracer for now. And Noya is going to work his way towards the pipe, and once he gets to the pipe, a lot of the damage is going to be negated from Liquid. Well, not negated, but lessened is a more appropriate term, I suppose. Tinker picks up the dagger, so now he can farm so easily and so safely. Just teleport anywhere he wants as Mini with a Lifesteal and Fest Bomb in him. Once again, is level 11, so has a longer duration of Vendetta. Does spy Fluff with his little eye. Surprise, Fluff. Happy to see me? Fluff is definitely not happy to see the Radiant heroes going in, but Fluff, so tanky! Will he actually escape? Blink to have Mini, but Fluff jukes in the complete opposite direction as the birds will allow Fluff to escape. Now Link is going to be on the back foot, trying to run away, get telekinesed up, and wow, Fluff and stuff with some hero jukes. Noya will help secure the kill on Fluff in the end, but they trade a Leicester for a Visage. Something that the Dire will do any day of the week, so really, really well played by Fluff and stuff. And once again, Link dying, not having a good time in this game at all. Now you can see BKB going to be delivered to TC, so he's going to have that, and that means he can freely initiate, going to be unencumbered by Puck's silence. And it's going to remain that way until somebody gets a Hex, because there is nothing on the side of the Radiant that goes through BKB outside of the wall damage. But, I mean, Queen of Pain won't probably be willing to walk into the wall unless she really has to. I mean, Lifesteal damage does do quite a bit, but it can only do so much against an incredibly mobile hero like Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, checking out the items on the side of Dire, TC or Korok. We'll see what he decides to go for. Could... Ooh, Mini revealing himself with the Ion Shell damage. And Korok, I think he's baiting. And if he was, then that was a pretty intense bait because his allies weren't really that close to reinforcing him, but he felt confident that he could use the BKB. Keep in mind, this is a LAN tournament, so I'm sure these players are practicing their reactions, but again, Liquid is American, so they could be suffering from a bit of jet lag. So reactions might be a bit delayed, but it's a LAN tournament, and they need all the LAN experience they can get. And look at these familiars put in work. A couple barrages brings Puck down to 2/3 HP. Tinker just constantly pressuring Lion's Pride, really just annoying them to death. And that's what Tinker's designed to do these days. They just play no risk and high reward. Really, really annoying to deal with, but such is the life of Dota, or Tinker these days, to say the least. Korok does pick up the last hit, so that'll go a long way in fueling his next item. Meanwhile, Teleport is going down to the top lane, as it seemed like Noya was attempting to consider going for a gank, but he was by his lonesome. So I guess he reconsidered. Well, Korok did in fact finish up the drums rather than going for another item, so wants a bit of extra mobility as well as having the drum charges, considering that nobody on the side of Liquid currently has a drums. Liquid, they still don't have a mech up. I've got to imagine that that is going to be Fluff's next item choice, unless he goes straight into the Aghanim Scepter, but the team fight of the raid going to get more and more powerful as Bulba just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Nyx's assassin just hid in the wings for a while. Did manage to get a successful gank up onto the Tinker and going to delay his annoying factor for just a couple of moments longer. You know, Axmite going to rage up and escape from that very, very awkward situation he found himself in. And looks like the rain will be able to clean up this tier 2 tower. Well, not clean it up. We'll be able to bring the tier 2 down to at least half HP. Well, I guess not even that much. 60%. That's still a respectable amount. And they are going to spot the ancient camp. And they know Korok or Bulba will be more than happy to clean that up. But they're not going to put themselves in a risky situation underneath the ancients and underneath the Tinker when he is respawning. So I'm not too sure what Lions Pride's game plan actually is. I guess they're waiting for the pipe, but the pipe is going to be delivered relatively soon. Actually, it is finished. So we'll see if they go for a team fight. Lifesteal doesn't really have too much of anything. He has an arm with drums 24 minutes in. That's not really that much considering it was a safe lane Lifesteal. Well, I guess a jungle Lifesteal. Crystal Main, not too many items either. She's just been warding. I feel like the Rain are just really, really poor. The most farm hero is probably Nyx, who has that dagger up. But outside of that, that's just not going to be enough. You know, Liquid, I think, have just been out-farming Lions Pride, which I think is a weakness of Lions Pride. If you saw in the last game, you saw that Mouse were just consistently able to out-farm Lions Pride and just remain ahead in the golden experience graph. And right now, you can see the Dire, despite having a tower deficit, do have a gold advantage as well as an experience advantage. And the Radiant, despite having a heavy gank lineup, really not finding too many openings to actually get the ganks going. But here comes the Blink Engagement. They will manage to catch out TC. Frostbite will be used, but TC has the BKB, not choosing to use it just yet. And really, really nice decision making by TC. Didn't panic, kept his cool, and saved that very, very precious 10-second BKB charge. Meanwhile, Bulba will just be sent to the bottom lane by himself to defend his buildings from the onslaught of the Radiant. And in exchange, the Radiant gonna lose their tier 1 tower, as Mini actually tried to get a blink gank up onto the Tinker, but unfortunately just wasn't fast enough. So honestly, I'm not too sure what Lions Pride should do, because their ganking attempts are being thwarted. I guess what items are they getting close towards? Nothing too significant. Honestly, I can't really say what they should wait for. Maybe they should smoke up and try to go for a gank, but they're facing a couple BKB heroes. Meanwhile, on Liquid, I feel like are very comfortable taking to the late game. They have Tinker, they have Gyrocopter, and the only sort of significant late game DPS is the Lifestealer, and I guess the Darkseer. And considering Puck has not been able to snowball, he's definitely not going to have an accelerated late game compared to other Pucks, like Dendy's, if you saw that. Really, really tremendous Puck play against Virtus Pro. But TC gonna be in a lot of trouble. Mini waiting to initiate. We'll get the stun off, and here comes Frostbite. TC gonna pop the BKB, will be able to escape. So at the very least, Lions Pride gonna burn that 10-second BKB charge in exchange for a Vendetta. And that means BKB will be on cooldown for the next minute and a half. That might be an opening that Lions Pride are looking for, as they're gonna get the silence down to Korok. They will lose the Dream Call as well, as Korok gonna pop his own BKB. And this should be the opportunity that Lions Pride are waiting for, because now 2 BKBs have been used at the price of Vendetta and Dream Coil. And Dream Coil is going to be a bit of a thing that they might miss, but they have Darkseer, they have Vacuum Wall, and they have a lot of stuns outside of the Dream Coil, so I think they should be able to at least scare Liquid away from defending the tier 2. But Liquid just have a really strong defensive lineup, so with good positioning, it seems like they're just not going to be touched. And you can see Korok already picked up the Eagle Song. And all the while, Bulba just going to constantly push out the bottom lane over and over and over again. Yo, Fluff, gonna go for the Aghanim Scepter. Already has picked up the gem. You can see Fluff so tanky that Gravekeeper's Cloak gives him so much armor in the initial barrages. And his Grave Chill just makes him so maneuverable. And with Aghanim Scepter, the triple birds just do a lot of damage, have a lot of stun time, and give you a lot of map control. Especially with the Tinker on your side, you will always have some form of global presence. You know, Bulba gonna go into the straight up Hex rather than going for a 4-staff or a Ghost Scepter. think this is the best choice. I mean, what would you use a Ghost Scepter for? Just the Lifestealer? That's pretty much it. I mean, Force Staff, I guess isn't necessary when you already have the dagger. You just have to be careful on your positioning. And you're not really facing a Clockwork. You don't really need a Force Staff. You are facing a Puck, but Puck has to see you first. I guess you can say that about any hero. Well, most heroes at the very least. So Lion's Pride just going to farm up for now, as a Basher has been finished on the Lifestealer, so that allowed him to go in to try to pick off the Gyrocopter at the very least through the BKB. But now Link is caught in a bit of an awkward situation. There are multiple heroes from the Dire in very close proximity, and you can see IX Mike will place a ward and just going to scare Link away. Will be able to steal Rage, and that means magically immune IX Mike has now joined the party. Meow Mini just constantly vendetted, but just can't look for an opening. And sometimes this is the weakness of Nyx. And the Radiant gonna be in danger of losing their tier 2. They're not gonna go for a tower trade, so I think they've gotta fight this. As the glyph has been used, we'll see if Liquid devotes all their resources. No, Liquid, I feel like, are just gonna poke and prod. Just not going to commit themselves to such an aggressive push. Well, now the tower's in danger. Is Korok going to get initiated on? Here comes the Vendetta and initiation. Vacuum has been used, but the wall has not. Where is the wall? Darkseer not able to get the wall online. Just had no mana to do that. And with the wall, I think Liquid could have potentially been wiped, or at least would have lost the Gyrocopter. Seems like Nyx was able to clean up the Gyrocopter in the end, but he's going to have to trade his life as Bulba. Out of mana, he could be in a lot of trouble. Meanwhile, Link going to be back on the assault. Spies IX Mike going to go in, but instead Fluff will receive the majority of the DPS. And so far, Lion's Pride making a stunning recovery, as she will end up getting a team wipe, despite Darkseer not having enough mana for the wall. Bulba trying to scurry on out of there, but the Orb is going to spot him. The Orb sees everything. And they do kill off Liquid in a successful team wipe. And I would have thought for sure Liquid wouldn't have devoted all of their resources to killing that tier 2 tower. I thought they'd just poke and prod and use their mobility to escape, but just a really, really nice initiation by Mini with the Vendetta Impale stun up on the Korok. The vacuum was really, really tremendous, and Darkseer was like, well, shit guys, I don't have enough mana. But in the end, it did work out very tremendously for Lion's Pride. They didn't lose anybody, and they got a full team wipe. It could not have gone better for Lion's Pride. It could not have gone worse for Team Liquid. Not too sure how many bashes Link got. I've got to assume he got one at the very least to kill off Queen of Pain. But Lion's Pride gonna clean up the tier 2 on the bottom lane, and they defend their tier 2 on their own bottom lane. So really nicely done. So that is gonna mitigate a lot of Liquid's Roshan control. But then again, Liquid have Tinker, so they always have Roshan control to some extent. Not as much as a Furion would give you, but to some extent. So now, keep in mind, Lion's Pride, they won that fight, but they were defending. It's going to be a different matter when they're actually pushing into Liquid's base. And you can see they've taken a huge experience advantage. The gold graph is going to even up to a certain degree, as Fluff will snag the invisibility rune. Is there any detection on the side of Lion's Pride? Keep in mind, Fluff had a gem, and the gem can't be destroyed anymore. Where'd the gem go? Maybe Fluff put it on the courier? Maybe it's on the Lion's Pride courier? Where the heck is the gem? Well, maybe Fluff hit it. That's my only explanation. As Korok once again finding himself out of position, as Korok will be in a lot of trouble. Ion Shell and Blink Dagger gonna force teleportation by Korok, and he will have to use another BKB charge. So Korok once again being overambitious. And you can see sometimes the aggressive nature of Korok does come back to haunt him, as now he's down to a very, very low duration of BKB. Getting dangerously close to that 4-second, and Lion's Pride have so many disables that Gyrocopter needs as much BKB time as possible. He's tanky, but he's not that mobile. Well, I guess now he's not even that tanky. He will go for the butterfly. That evasion's going to be very useful, but still, that BKB going to be really, really crucial in these upcoming engagements. Checking out, well, I've already checked out the golden experience. Net worth, Gyrocopter is still ahead of the competition. We'll see what Pucks goes for. He's going to go for the Hex. He will have it very, very soon if he chooses to go for it. I don't think it's the time for a buyback just yet. Lions Pride have not lost any tier 2s, and Liquid not really in any hurry to get Roshan, and that is why Puck is going to finish up the Hex, so good decision by Puck to finish that up. Next Assassin looks like he's going to go for a Blade Mail, so wants to have double spikes on him at all times. Crit with the Ghost Scepter, going to mitigate a lot of Korok's DPS, but that's pretty much it. Well, I guess mitigate some of TC's right clicks, but still, it's got to be the burst damage you've got to be worried about. And TC trying to go for that Hex, but still quite far away. Fluff making his way towards the Agnum Scepter, still far away himself, trying to get as many wards as possible. And Smoke of Deceit going to be used by Lions Pride. They have Blinked Iron Nyx, but really smart play by Liquid. They're going to bait with their tankiest hero and the most expendable hero, because Fluff can still contribute to the fight even after he dies with his familiars. So good positioning by Liquid, but now Korok charging head is going to be baiting. Ix Mike is waiting in the wings. Sentry Ward going to be used. But Lions Pride so far not falling for the bait. And all the while, Lifesteal is banging on the top lane saying, Liquid, please come gank. But Liquid just going to farm up themselves, clearly not in any hurry. Tinker still making his way towards his own Hex. His farm rate has slowed down significantly, as he's definitely been a lot more scared since Liquid has lost a lot of map control. But I guess he will make his way towards the item sooner rather than later. So the game has entered another sort of stalemate, so to speak. This Korok is going to farm the neutrals so very close. Mini is going to spot him out, but there's not going to be initiation. Mini is going to spy Korok, as this could be a bit dicey for Lions Pride, as they are charging beneath the tier 2 tower. But at the very least, they wouldn't be charging into multiple March Machine stacks. And Noya's got to make sure he has enough mana to cast his wall. As the familiars just constantly scouting out. We'll do a bit of harassment on Crit at the very least. Crit just trying to scurry on out of there. He's going to be out of position, so that won't allow Lions Pride to actually go on the offensive. And Visage will be able to get a nice D ward off. And meanwhile, Lions Pride going to be in full retreat. Just going to apply as much pressure as possible to this top tier 2. And Bulba has confidence he can defend it with his allies being so close at hand. We'll be able to do just that as Korok has finished the butterfly, again going all out, considering neither team really in a comfortable position to take Roshan, and all the tier 2s are up, minus this lonely tier 2 up on the bottom lane for Liquid. So that's why he bought out rather than saving for buyback. Y'all, TC getting close to the Hex. So just theoretically in a late game situation, again, I said it in the beginning, I said it in the middle, I do favor Liquid in late game clash because they have more experience. And then they have better late game heroes. They have Gyrocopter, they have Visage, they have Tinker. You know, Lions Pride, a lot of their damage does fade out, especially since Nyx is not really going into much damage, as Nyx picked up a gem. I guess he found Fluff's gem finally, as he didn't have that for quite a while. Or maybe he had it the whole time and I'm just blind as a motherfucking bat. And if that's the case, then I do apologize. But yeah, in the late game, Lions Pride's only reliable source of DPS is the Lifestealer, and I guess Darkseer Wall Illusions, but those aren't super reliable against Liquid's mobility. So I don't know what Lions Pride are waiting for, but I guess they just can't really find an opening to push in. But I think they will have to force the issue rather than just wait for Liquid to make a mistake. Liquid are more than happy to wait around. They will just keep farming up and farming up. And Lions Pride gonna have to go get something at the very least. They can't just keep winning around. They're losing out in terms of the farm war up against the Tinker lineup. And they're going to lose out in the late game scenario. I think this is their peak. They have the Hex up on Puck. Lifesteal is relatively farm. He's going to go for an MKV to mitigate that evasion from Korok. He has the MKV finish, and this has got to be a moment that Lions Pride have to go in. They've got to go in, try to do as much damage as possible, get the tier 2, fight in the tier 3, go for Roshan, everything like that, because they can't really afford to wait around too much longer. But once again, Tinker just being a buzzkill, second only to Treant and Nature's Prophet in terms of killing one's buzz. And this tower will remain standing for now.
Top tower is under attack.
And this is sometimes the problem of a puck initiation rather than a Batrider initiation. Batrider can jump in and then drag people back with the force staff to such a large degree that he can initiate from further away. Puck can't really do that. He holds people in place to where they're actually located. But that's why Batrider is banned and Puck isn't. It's as simple as that. And Liquid will look to get the tower tonight. They are going to get it. As TC trying to scout out the trees. Realize that they are simply trees. As Link forced to pop the rage, and the Grave Chill will be applied. Link could be in a lot of trouble. Bulba could blink ahead as he does get a clutch Infest off into the creeps. But now Crit gonna lose his life. Infest gonna be used. We'll see if Lion Sprite gonna fall up. No, Darkseid is on complete opposite side of the map. And Lion Sprite gonna lose the Crystal Main. Looks like Lifesteal was able to escape, but with its momentum, Liquid gonna pressure the tier 2 on the top lane. And Darkseer will be able to defend this. I think Lion Sprite can defend this. But still, even if they win this team fight, they'll be fighting their own territory. They can't really accomplish too much as here comes a Blink Hex onto Korok. Korok taking so much damage to Shockwave, being used by TC. Only does so much. Bash gonna hold TC in place for now as Darkseer gonna get picked off. Once again, not being able to use his wall as Fluff and Stuff will get slain as well. Rubik got killed as Lion Sprite with some spectacular defenses, but just can't do anything aggressive. These are all defensive maneuvers. And Liquid, even though they don't like losing these engagements, in the end of the day, they're going to be fine with it. I mean, the most significant thing that they're going to lose is Roshan. And maybe their tier 2 mid. Maybe only one. But other sort of flip of the coin, the fact that Darkseid didn't use his wall means he will have the wall for the next engagement. So if Lion Sprite want to look for another successful engagement after this past one, they have the capability to do so because they have the wall on their side. So the Dire are going to lose their tier 2 mid. Again, Liquid not too pleased on how that team fight went, but I mean, they can accept it for now. But Gold Graph starting to favor the Radiant more and more. Experience Graph favoring the Radiant even more. Visage, his item progression has slowed to a crawl as Lifesteal does pick off Tinker. Not too sure what Bulba is doing. Gotta rewind to find out what exactly happened. Noya surges in. Once again, GG's are called. Actually, Bulba teleports in on a familiar, so it looks like he wants to initiate engagement, has the Hex finished, and tried to do as much as he can, but little did he know there was a Darkseer there, and that's going to be end of Bulba, so a bit of cockiness to bring on a Lifesteal by himself. Maybe was waiting for TC to be a bit faster. May want to use the Hex to best of ability, but now that mistake could cost his team quite a number of kills as Mini is able to immediately pick off Alex Mike, but look at Korok's damage. It is just ripping through the Radiant as Hesijoran finds himself infested as Noya gonna get picked off, and it's gonna be an even exchange, all things considered. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much even. Since Tinker already finished his Scythe device, so Darkseer I think might have lost a bit more. No, he finished his own Scythe. But I think that favored the Dire because now they have an opening to Roshan since Darkseer is dead for such a long amount of time. And of course, I sound smart saying that, but I mean, if you just looked at the game. Well, I mean, I didn't even sound smart since I looked at the game, so scratch that completely. But it seems like the Dire will be able to claim the first Roshan of the game. The Orb going to scout out the positioning of Liquid as the Reagan could potentially make a move, but now it's going to be way too late. Aegis has been claimed by Korok. And now the Dire will retreat very, very comfortably. Korok is just going to farm himself a casual Ancient stack. And even though he's 5, 5, and 8, his farm is just out of this world. He's even saying, Bulba, screw you, these are my creeps. I can't farm as effectively without Flakhand, so I'm just going to use cooldown just because I will have it up in the next teamfight engagement. 45-second cooldown, I mean, why not use it for a creep wave? It's going to be up for the next teamfight. And Lion's Pride, again, I think they could potentially fight this. They have multiple hexes. But it might be for the best if they give this up just because it's low HP and it might not be worth the risk, especially against an Aegis Gyrocopter. So they can fight this, but it seems like they're going to avoid doing that for now. No, not in position, and by the time he teleports in, they're going to have to use the glyph or the tower will already be dead. And Mini with the finished blade mail, just hiding, trying to hunt the Tinker as best he can, but without any allies, he can't really hunt as effectively as Lion's Pride are actually going to defend this, so color me surprised.
Radiant structures
They're going to
are
fortify a tier
fortified.
2 at deny HP.
Radiant's
And I
bottom
think the
tower
Dire will be
is
able to
under
claim it
attack.
nonetheless. They will be able to claim it, so not too sure about the deny, but here comes the Blink Hex onto TC. TC going to be in a lot of trouble. TC will get immediately cleaned up. Dreamhack going to hold a multitude of liquid heroes in place, but one of them has Rage, one of them has BKB, and the damage output by Korok is absolutely tremendous. He's going to find himself hexed up since BKB has expired. TC bought back, but he can't teleport himself back in as Gyrocopter is going to die a second time. Korok will get slain. Did he buy any major items before he engaged? He finished Satanic, so he's going to be dead for such a long duration. This could be perhaps Rax. Fluff is going to find himself in a lot of trouble. He is going to go down as well, so Lion's Pride just, even without making any aggressive moves, just winning on the back of defensive engagements. And Liquid fighting against a Darkseer Puck Lifestrike combination is just not good for them, especially when Gyrocopter only has a 4-second BKB at this stage. And with Korok already buying a Satanic, I mean, you can't really disagree with Korok buying a Satanic. He had the Aegis, and he had a Satanic. And he probably didn't anticipate TC dying so quickly. So I can't really fault him, since he did have the Aegis, so might as well buy a Satanic.
Dire's
But
bottom
now they're going to
tower
be in danger of
is under
losing their
attack.
first set of barracks, as I'm not too sure if Liquid can defend this. The Glyph will only stall for a moment's notice as my X-Mike gonna find himself hexed up. This could actually be decent for Liquid since they're gonna forfeit a lot of physical damage on the tower. But they are gonna give up X-Mike and he's dead for the next 50 seconds. But more importantly, that's gonna buy valuable time for Gyrocopter to respawn, so X-Mike's sacrifice
Dire's bottom tower
won't be enough. These racks are just dying way too quickly, despite the March Machines putting in work.
Dire's
There's
bottom
only so
barracks
much work you can do.
fallen.
And the Abyssal Blade MKB combination just ripped through TC, ripped through Korok like a hot knife through butter. Like Luminous through a hentai magazine. If hentai does have magazines. I've got to assume they have magazines. I mean, normal porn has magazines, so why not hentai? And now, Lion's Pride in a decent position. They definitely are in the advantage because they have a solid kill advantage, a solid experience advantage. They take clean first set of barracks, but I mean, I can't imagine Liquid will make the mistake again, as Boa actually going to go into a BKB. Interesting choice, as he really feels like the magical damage is just too much for the Tinker, and the double hex is really not helping his case either. But yeah, against the Tinker, Liquid could potentially defend against Mega Creeps with Tinker, Flacken, and the amount of farm they have on their heroes. I think they could defend against Mega Creeps. But, I mean, right now they're only defending against a superset of melee creeps. As Fluff gonna get himself stunned up. Mini does spot him out as Crit gonna come in. Fluff gonna be in a lot of trouble. Fluff will definitely die. Make no bones about it. One last hit by Link gonna help secure the kills. Link still has 3 charges on his drums. Interesting choice not to use drums, but now Liquid gonna be in a lot of trouble. Their base is gonna be threatened. Fluff doesn't have enough for buyback. And we'll see if Liquid can concoct as many miraculous defenses as Lion's Pride can, as Link gonna use the full duration of his rage and then back off. Smart choice, but he doesn't have anything like a heart to regenerate his HP back to full. As Mini blinked in, trying to get a Hex or a stun. Here comes Crit doing the freezing field for a moment, but he cancels it himself. Wall, not in the best location, but good enough. But so far, Hestaron will be the first one to die. Nick's assassin died as well. A questionable initiation gonna lead to Link's death as well, as Lion's Pride just crumbling. What the hell happened? Just a weird initiation by the Puck as well as the Nick's assassin. And Lion's Pride were just confused. That's the only thing I can say about that. And I mean, you can kill Visage, but as long as he still has familiars, his presence will be felt. Now, Liquid definitely gonna get a tier 2, might knock on the tier 3. Lifestar does that buyback. He won't use it unless the tier 3 is being breached. But Liquid actually just not even rotating for the tier 2 just yet. They are gonna go for it. They've gotta go for it. They've gotta get something for their troubles. Taking a look at the golden experience graph. Golden experience in favor of the rain. Experience more so in advantages. Noya gonna charge in ahead of the pack, but he knows everybody inside Liquid's alive. I'm not too sure what Noya is doing, as he is making some questionable decisions, to say the least. Korok will be able to help clean up this tower, and actually TC does get the last hit. gonna help fuel his Shivas up, as he will have enough for buyback. And the tier 3 gonna be in danger because Darkseer's dead, and that means there won't be any wall. He doesn't have buyback either, and the raid, they will have the glyph up, but the tier 3 tower might die. They're gonna have to pop the glyph very, very soon, and allow Lifesteal to come back, but they're gonna actually face March Machines. And March Machines is just gonna be so incredibly annoying. Will Liquid get a Rax trade in exchange for losing their own barracks off the mistake of a Darkseer? That seems to be the case, as Liquid gonna clean themselves in mid barracks right back, as, ooh, never mind, the Leicester initiation bomb with the Nyx gonna once again look to isolate Korok. Korok popping Sitek, trying to do as much as he can, will get picked off, but Mini brought down such low HP. Fluff getting bashed, getting smashed, is gonna get clobbered to death. TC does manage to get a kill, but he is gonna trade his life in exchange, and the Familiars, they have the right idea of it. They're gonna pick off the melee barracks by themselves, saying, I will do what my masters cannot. IX Mike gonna fall. Liquid getting almost wiped once again, as Bulba gonna be able to narrowly escape. Bottling up will have those boots travel online. And TC has enough for buyback, and his buyback will be up relatively soon. I think Link's next item has gotta be a heart. He really needs an extra bit of HP. He has a lot of damage, but he needs a tank presence in order to really withstand the multitude of barrages that Liquid is throwing his ways. Because, I mean, Rage is good and all, but after Rage expires, suddenly you're gonna find yourself chain axed by a Tinker. And then you're just, well, shit. That's pretty much all you can say.
Invisibility.
Y'all has to Joe Rotten. Not too much money. Picked up Boots of Travel. Darkseer has picked up a dagger. And Liquid just gonna prevent Lion's Pride from pushing into the middle barracks, just popping Martian Machines at any opportunity. Tinker has pretty much infinite mana at this point, but Lion's Pride gonna charge in without it. TC has enough for buyback. Won't have to use it, since Liquid have the glyph up. And Lion's Pride, they have to back off. Roshan, unfortunately for them, is not close to being up. And their tier 2 towers still have full HP, so they can't even really, I mean, they can go back to defend it, but it's not really in desperation mode just yet. Lion's Pride once again winning a successful team fight without the Darkseer wall for what seems like the billionth time. You know, Fluff has picked up the Aghanim Scepter, so now has 3 Familiars flying all the way overhead, waiting for the cooldown so he can resummon the 3rd one. And look at this damage output, it is absolutely tremendous. You know, Crystal Lane's relatively farm, gonna go into a BKB, that's all well and good. Lifestealer, saving up a lot of gold, has enough for buyback. As the next Roshan, definitely gonna be instrumental. I don't know if Liquid, yeah, I guess it's equally important to both teams. But I think it's more important for Lion's Pride. Even though they're winning these team fights, I feel like the Tinker just makes things so much harder for Lion's Pride than it does for Liquid. Meanwhile, Mini gonna initiate with a Vendetta, looking for an opening. Liquid don't have a Sentry Ward or an Observer Ward. Do they have a gem at the very least? That is what I'm wondering. They don't have a gem, they have a Sentry Ward, but Mini gonna get revealed. They're gonna initiate on the Korok. Abyssal Blade gonna hold in place for now, but Link gonna find himself hexed up before he can use the Abyssal Blade. Link will be the next one to fall. Mini was the first one. Noya gonna find himself hexed up once again. He's gonna pop the vacuum as well as wall, doing a lot of damage, but still won't be enough. IX Mike might very well die to Delusions. No crit blinks in with the Frost Knowing will clean up IX Mike, but a Rubik for his entire team, very much not worth it. His crit might be able to escape by the skin of his teeth. Well, Liquid just don't care. They're going to wait for Roshan, and they will take it. Man, just really, really good reaction by Liquid. The Nyx Assassin Blink, the Lifestealer going in with the Abyssal Blade, just didn't matter because they got the hexes off. So really strong reactions by Liquid, won them the fight in my opinion. And that is going to severely cripple Lion's Pride's chance of winning this game. Because now they don't have 2 lives to go in for the barracks, and suddenly, if TC or if Korok wants to, he can go for Rapier, but instead he opts for a Lincoln Sphere. Interesting choice. He really feels the Abyssal Blade, or fears the Abyssal Blade, and I can't say I blame him.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Y'all, TC and his Liquid friends gonna rotate in. They're gonna clean up the bottom barracks. And Lion's Pride, suddenly, despite playing pretty well for the majority of the game, in such a dangerous situation, can they actually come back from this? They've shown that they can take and win fights time and time again, but now Liquid might just be a bit too far ahead with the Aegis and Cheese on their side. Liquid going to be content with the melee barracks and just going to back off accordingly. A nice teleport by Fluff, going to cast a stun so Nick Assassin can't potentially come in with the Vendetta shot in conjunction with the Impale, and the Familiars will just be able to escape. TC finished the AC. He is so farmed. Has just a lot of minus armor up his sleeve. Bulba, very farmed as well. Has not picked up an item in a while, but still doing his job. If it was him doing the chain axes on the Nyx Assassin as well as the Lifestealer, then he definitely has done his job very well. But I think Fluff is has just been playing out of his mind. Korok gonna wait a while, gonna pick up the Boots of Travel instead of, well, just sells his treads, picks up the Boots of Travel. He doesn't have buyback, but now you can be rest assured that Liquid won't be feeling any pressure to actually go look for engagement with the Aegis, and they're gonna wait for Lion's Pride to come to them. And Lion's Pride gonna have to look for it because slowly but surely their building is gonna get picked off one by one on the back of the creeps being pushed in by Tinker. As Puck holding on to 5k gold, he really needs to buy an item. He's saving for buyback, but he's not using it. And he can't really use it when the rest of his team is dead. But I'm not too sure what the point of saying all this gold is for. He might need a BKB himself. Noya definitely needs a BKB. Meanwhile, Nyx Assassin does get picked off. I guess the gem. Yeah, Fluff has a gem, and it's his own gem that he bought at the very beginning of the game. And that is going to mean that Mini is going to be out of the picture for the next while. He won't be able to buy it back. And Mini is a significant portion of Lion's Pride Disable, because an AoE stun that can be casted very, very frequently, up to 3 times in a drawn-out engagement, means that without it, it's going to be a lot more difficult for Lion's Pride to actually defend this. So, Liquid just going to ignore the top barracks completely, recognizing that there's a tier 2 in their way, and instead go for the tier 4s. And they are pumping out the damage on these towers. Puck forced to orb in. We'll see if there's initiation. Puck gonna orb in with Link in time, but another beautiful hex by Bulba. And they managed to kill off Link. Link in a buyback as well as Puck. Noya can't cast the vacuum. The wall just stands there and looks pretty as Puck does manage to get his Dream Call off. These quick trigger fingers of Liquid on the hex button, just so crucial. Fluff will be the first one to die on the side of Liquid, but Link gonna get juked. He's gonna get hexed up. He's taking so much damage. Look at the Familiars just pumping out the damage, and I think this is the end for Lion's Pride in this game. And with that, the hope of advancing to the brackets of Dreamhack have been extinguished as well. But still, they have put up a hell of a fight. And considering that Mini's is standing, considering that this Danish team has not been around for too long, they have been looking very, very promising. They definitely pushed Liquid to the edge. So really, really strong game by both teams. But in the end, I think Fluff and Stuff and Bulba really just carried Liquid to victory. And of course, the rest of the team put in their dues as well. So really well played by Liquid. And this is the last match that I think I'm going to cast from Group A. So I'm just going to spoil the results. Liquid managed to beat Mouse very convincingly, so they managed to win the Group 3-0. Mouse moved on 2-1, and I don't know the results of the 3rd and 4th place. I don't know if 4FC won or if Lions Pride won. I think Lions Pride won over 4FC. But thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll be back with more Dreamhack replays as soon as I can. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.